All right, guys, we are back with a Week 10 weekly league report. We've got Ryan, and we've also got special guest this week, Jack Colston, not Jack Potter. Say what's up.
Hey guys, what's up?
Jack,
Look at this pretty boy,
What, Jack or Caleb?
Caleb.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Caleb.
can't believe it's him.
These are
can.
two
I
former
can
Caleb
believe it.
Williams owners, right? These are two former.
Yes,
We've got
yes, Jack
Yeah.
Potter and
two
Caleb.
former. Yeah.
And then I started him and died with him because he scored
I-
5 points against the.
I-
Who the heck was
I think
that?
he's been great.
I died.
This is the Caleb I drafted. This is the
Nope.
Caleb I wanted to draft.
No qualms for me. He just needs to play the Bengals every week.
Had to catch a touchdown too, of course. But yeah, Caleb Williams, your top scorer of the week, 38 points. David chopped. There's one of the unexpected ones. I said it's gonna happen. Someone that's one of the good teams, like a pretty not bold take that he was probably a top 5 team, and now he's gone. So that was a lot of good players that just got thrown around. Ryan might disagree about the lots of good players, but
Well, I think too. Like if you look at his team, like it had very clearly been anchored by JT going for 25 like 4 times or whatever.
True.
He had Janty was on bye, or no, Brees was on bye. Brees was on bye.
yes.
Janty's been pretty unreliable. I think that's safe to say. So sucks that his horse let him down more or less. But I think maybe that had disguised, not that his team was obviously bad otherwise, but average otherwise, and just kind of everybody was average together, and JT didn't do what he does.
Yeah, I think there's.
Yeah, I think he had a really,
Go ahead.
his team was so top heavy that, one or two studs don't go off. And then all of a sudden you're in the bottom with, Mitch, Fleming, and Ryan. And at that point, you just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
Thanks.
100%. I do. Yeah, I do think that. I do think he maybe not like having JT just made him feel safer than he actually should have felt, but not that the rest of his team was bad. It just wasn't. No other like major studs. I mean, Danny Dimes has been really solid and consistent, getting him like 20 points, and he didn't do that. I don't think.
I mean, he did 7. What did he do? 17.
Something moderate.
Like it wasn't like he laid a dud either.
No.
No.
I mean,
think
Brian
it was-
Thomas Jr., I think, was the only, that was the big
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Well, he did that midweek trade. That was like his desperation move and hoping that Brian Thomas would pop off. I think he was trying to do a desperation move within reason, and that was like without dropping all his fab for someone.
Yeah. As someone who offered him ETN for less, I was confused with Brian Thomas Jr. But, I mean, the targets should have been there. He has all the potential in the world.
With what's his face out, Travis Hunter, you would think.
Hunter, yeah.
No,
I'm sure that.
as soon as
Now with Jacoby Myers, who knows what that's going to look like?
I had a little.
Well, he
bet
did
in.
trade before Jacoby came in, but yes.
Yeah, that's true.
The Jaguars have always been like inexplicably using Parker Washington. So I threw as soon as Travis Hunter was ruled out, I threw in like a parlay for Parker Washington to go for like 8 catches and 80 yards or something like that, and he did. And that was a nice little chunk. Parker Washington should have started Parker Washington, not Brian Thomas.
Thanks for letting the team know, or the league know, Eric.
You're welcome.
I'm sure you would have had some Taylors.
I did do it like live during the game. It was like in like the first quarter when I saw he was already getting targeted. I'm yep, he's having a game. Like it's gonna happen. Yeah, I should have. But if I did that with every one of my bets, it'd be I'd look like more of an idiot than more often than not. All right, well, we've made it halfway through the year, by the way. That was 11th place, David. So 10 teams left of the original 20. So congratulations, you made it halfway through the year if you are still hanging on here. New receiver, new player in the 3 category of the Grim Reapers. It's Cortland Sutton, I think, knocking off 3 in a row here. Me, then Cooper, and then David. Is that not all back to back to back?
Yeah. And now he's with Mitch.
And now he's with Mitch. So, Mitchell's time is. I mean, his
I can't
team
believe he
has
didn't
gotten
factor
a
that
little
in.
better. Wait, what did you say?
I can't believe he didn't factor that in when he bid on Sutton.
Factor what in?
He's a Grim Reaper.
What do you mean?
Are we sure he's the wide receiver 1 there?
For Troy Franklin? Are you starting Troy Franklin tonight?
Jack, this isn't a platform where you can bolster your trade value.
I mean, Troy Franklin's out targeting him.
Not wrong. I mean, when Ryan and I were debating this earlier.
Eric's a Cortland Sutton sim.
I am a sim. No, I'm a Cortland Sutton stan because look, if you look at his matchups, Ryan was saying Cortland Sutton is like as volatile as AJ Brown, and I said that is absolutely not true at all. He's scored 9.
No, he's had brutal matchups.
His 2 bad games were in the 2 worst matchups he could have had. Houston was this week, and he did. Indy week 2, and the Jets week 6.
Yeah, because he was covered by Sauce that whole time.
Yeah. So,
but I guess I'm also saying he had 1 catch for 30 yards and a touchdown.
Okay, that's the only time he's
9
done
points.
that. I mean,
Right, but then couple that with the 2 other things that you just said.
Okay, so you want to call that a dud week then, because assume that catch isn't for a touchdown. That's 3 of the 9 weeks are duds. The other 6 are 9+ points, and those 3 bad ones are against hard secondaries, hard defenses. So if you want to and you look at the rest of season schedule, I would say there's no matchup for the rest of the season where I would expect him to put up a dud.
I guess my issue with him, and we don't need to spend 30 minutes talking about Cortland Sutton, but it's they randomly have, to Jack's point, the Troy Franklin couple games, Marvin Mims gets in there a lot,
a lot.
RJ Harvey gets a ton of catches and touchdowns. I feel like their offense in terms of who is showing up on a week to week basis feels like it shifts week to week. Is my concern with him, but
I understand the concern. I think my hot take would be if I
gotta hop off for a few minutes. I'll be back in 10 minutes.
Sounds good. My maybe not so hot take, or slightly hot take, would be that if I was still in the league right now, I would be trying to buy Cortland Sutton so hard because he's kind of looks unexciting right now. But I think rest of season he's going to be awesome. So if Mitchell,
you'd be out of money. You'd be out of money because you'd spent it all on Ricky Pearsall.
No, I wouldn't have. I would have still had Ricky Pearsall on my team, and I would have never traded him. He would still be sitting on my IR right now. So that would be what's happening. No, when Ricky comes back, he's going to be good too. But Sutton, I think he's a lock to not have any more dud games for the rest of the season, is what I'm saying. So you can hold me. You can call me out when that's wrong. Yeah. But
Eric, you want to put Eric $5 that
Okay.
there are no games for Corton scores more than 5.
I was going to say 5.
PPR.
I was thinking 5 too.
Okay.
So 5
Okay.
half PPR points if he. Well, no. I think I'm definitely taking the riskier side of this. 4 points. 4 points. If he scores less than 4 points.
4.5. 4.5 points.
4.5
points.
4.45. We got to split it somewhere because if he does exactly 4.5, we got to do.
Okay.
If he scores 4.5, I'm safe.
Yes.
All
that's
right.
fine.
You guys heard it. So I get rest of season and barring injury.
Yes.
All right. You get $5 if Cortland Sutton scores less than 4.45.
And you get $5 if in every game this season.
Wait, we're doing this every game, or it has to be every game?
No. One time.
Okay, one time. Yeah, just for the whole rest
This
of
is
the
a season-long $5 bet. Yes.
Yeah, or it'll be over if at any point he scores under. And I'm not going to give you
Yes.
multiple $5 for every game he scores under.
Yeah. I'm not.
All right,
that.
you guys heard it here. But yeah, these are all of our active Grim Reapers. Travion Henderson still in there. He got a
Ben
touchdown.
starting him.
Yep. He
He had a good game though.
Decent production, just didn't get the touchdown.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, they did that.
Yeah.
All right. Top 25% of last week, we had Potter getting his, I think, second star. We'll double check that on his slide, and then Jack and Jake, kind of the expected bunch here, I guess you could say. These teams are all really solid. Average score of 142. I think that is the highest so far this season. Jack put up the highest individual game score on the season. And going back to David, by the way, he had the highest score yet this season, and then gets eliminated the next week. So that's brutal. But this is your top 25%.
That is pretty brutal. So what happens when JT goes for 40?
Yep. I mean, yeah. And I think this is going to be the last week, I think, where we have 3 people on the slide. I think next week with 10 people, 3 people do not make the top 25%. Yeah, that checks out. So it'll be 2 next week. Just 1 star and 1 flame. And same with the bottom 25%. It'll be down to just the 2 plus the chopped in this slide. Bottom 25%, Max getting his first negative accolade, getting a trash can. Mitchell and Ben adding another ice cube to their slate of ice cubes and trash cans. Average score here of 88, which was up pretty significantly, 17%. And David, of course, getting the chop. And to put that into the visual, essentially, really just the floor came up. It's actually like your mean, like your bulk of your league was scoring about the same week over week. Potter went up a little bit for the ceiling, but ultimately it was just the floor that came up. No Cooper and Ben down here pulling it down. So yeah, this was not quite the yes, this is the highest eliminated score we had. Very close with the JC Joey of week 4. But yeah, it is crazy now the more we've gotten away from week 4. I know there was no buys in week 4, and that's really the difference maker there, but still kind of crazy that JC and Joey went with about 81.
Yeah, that is pretty wild.
And Thursday night tonight, we've got a little division rivalry game here. Raiders Broncos. Should be a good day for the Broncos. Anyone on your team that's a Bronco. There is a world where, Sutton could have a bad game just because they're dominating so much, but I just feel like the Broncos throw it anyway.
That's kind of another part of my. Sorry, I don't want to. The last thing I'll say on Cortland Sutton, and then we'll move on. Their defense is so good that if they play a bad offense, there's a very high chance they just look utterly anemic, and like then to your point, it's like they don't really need to do much of anything on offense, But all right, moving on. That's it.
There you go.
Last Cortland Sutton comment for the video.
Raiders, we got Genty and Bowers and Trey Tucker. I don't know if Walker is starting him, but he
is not.
It'd be a bold move, I guess, even as a wide receiver 1 now with Jacoby Myers going to Jacksonville. But then Nix, Mitchell could start Nix, or he could start Jackson Dart. He's been starting Nix, and in the last 2 weeks, I think it actually would have been the right move to start Dart, retrospectively. But
I think they saw Dart in his lineup.
Okay. I mean, this is a good matchup in theory, unless, like we say, they just get ahead and they stop scoring. But Dart, who do the Giants have? Chicago. So he does have Darden. Yeah. He does have Darden. Dobbins, Harvey, Sutton, Franklin, question mark. I don't know if Jack's going to start him. I don't think he currently has him. His team's too good to be starting. The only reason he would, maybe, is because Odunze is questionable, but I don't think he's actually.
Yeah,
he has other options. He has other options on his bench are Rashad White and Brian Thomas. So I think he's got other guys that if he doesn't put Franklin in tonight, he can.
I don't think he will.
Odunze doesn't play. Yeah, I know. All right, moving on. Monday night. This is a good matchup. This should be fun. Packers favored slightly. We'll have Hurts, Saquon, AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, Goddard, and then just Jacobs and Dobbs. And Musgrave is rostered, I think, by Fleming. I don't know if he's going to start him because he has a better player, Laporta. So unless he flexes him, Fleming's still waiting to set his final lineup because he's waiting for Pearsall to either be ruled out, which it looks like he will.
Sleeper does not think he's playing.
Yeah, Sleeper says 0. But he's still questionable, so Fleming's roster is stuck until something changes. Looks like Fleming will probably put in A.J. Brown. So Fleming has A.J. Brown and maybe Musgrave. Probably not. I think leaning not. And then let me look at who else has big. Ryan, you have Barkley, of course.
I have Barkley.
And then anyone else have any stacks, any double up? I mean, Jack has Hurts. Walker has Dobbs. Ben has Smitty. Max has Goddard. So yeah, not really any... Not much doubling up here. Donnie has Jacobs. So no one's doubled up here. So it'll be interesting to see what people do here going into Monday night, depending on who's in trouble. And the Sunday night, because some people could make moves before that as well, is Steelers, Chargers. I think we're getting to the point in the season where you have less...
Hey, guys.
Oh, how's it going?
Jack's back.
Jack's back. I was just saying how we're seeing less Monday night panic trades because there's less people being started in the games because rosters are getting better. Not as many people are getting started, so it's becoming. David made his panic move at 4:00 before the 4:00 window last week to get Brian Thomas. So you kind of have to start panicking before Monday night. So I don't know if we'll see many, if any, Monday night panic trades for the rest of the season. It'll be more of a pre-Sunday night trades, I think. Yeah. We'll see. Should be a good game. We got our Week 9 standings. We got Jack and Jake both hitting the 1,000 mark through 9 weeks. So congratulations. What does that average? That means you're averaging
110, 111.
111, yeah. That should be what it is. Yep.
Come on, Jack, math teacher.
Yeah, Ryan beat you to it.
That's a day job.
We got David in 6th in scoring, getting chopped. It's tough. He was higher. I think he was 4th. Got passed by Walker and Potter here. Potter's been rising up the ranks here. Johnny's been right around the middle of the pack for the last 3 weeks now. It's been just kind of funny. I feel like if I was to tier rank the league, he'd be in a tier of his own in the very middle.
I did have that thought as well this week.
Yeah.
It's been just a bunch of Jacobs and Quinshawn and Waddle. They're not
MHJ. He had QJ for a week.
They're no studs, but it's everybody is
Jacobs
75th percentile or 80th percentile.
Right.
So, and it's pretty it's pretty across the board. It's not like he has studs and his flexes stink. It's just his whole team is better than average.
Yeah. Yeah. Looking at how this could look next week, I was gonna see if some people could not pass David in scoring even after this week, and Ben would have to score 137 to pass David this week. So Ben will probably not pass David. No, I mean I could eat my words, but I don't think that's happening.
I don't think it's happening either.
Yeah.
Gibbs could go 40 against Washington.
Who?
Gibbs.
Oh, Gibbs looked bad last week. I saw an analysis. It was basically
but Washington looks bad.
Washington is next level bad.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's almost like playing the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, I mean, so Gibbs, the Vikings have a very good and smart defense, and it looked like they literally attacked Gibbs as a pass rusher, as a pass protector. He was getting eaten alive back there, and then they started putting Monty in for more. The Lions were reacting to that by putting Monty in, and he was doing a much better job at pass protecting. So that resulted in Gibbs getting less work, just from what it seemed. And they were playing from behind most of the game, so that doesn't help. But he tends to get pass catching work when they're behind, so that it was just kind of weird that he didn't do that.
This is not backed in data, but I feel like they've done more with Monty in the catching game this year, more than usually it was pretty much exclusively Gibbs, and now I feel like Monty's getting a lot of catches.
Yeah, Monty.
It's almost like they've changed roles. They use Gibbs as their every down back, and then Monty will get the change of pace.
Yeah,
it is kind of funny how that works. I want to look.
But anyway, Ben probably not scoring 140.
Yeah, Monty got 2 more carries and 1 more target than Gibbs last week, so it's almost a 50-50 split, but Monty did get more work. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if Ben can surpass David this week, but unlikely. All right, the economy. It's getting kind of crazy. 227 left in circulation. David died with 30-something, and then there was some big spending on a couple names, mainly JT, and then McBride and Brees, and I think I'm missing one off the top of my head. But all in, lost about 100 fab week over week. Potter owns 35% of the market. That is almost double the average market share. Not quite, but he's almost there. Or wait, this percentage, that can't be right.
It is double the next highest.
Sorry, this is supposed to say 10%. I fat fingered a 2 instead of a 1.
Come here, dude.
So he's actually 3.5 times the average market share. Pretty hilarious. He didn't spend anything this week. I thought he would have been in the bidding for JT, but I think he feels pretty good with who he has. To be honest,
Potter?
I don't know why. Potter, yeah, I don't know why he wouldn't have gone for JT.
He lost by 1.
Oh, he did go for JT.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't look at everyone's bid necessarily. I just know he didn't get him.
Yeah,
Lost
he
by
missed them
one.
by one, but he can just wait until JT
Yeah.
Dies.
gets chopped again. Like he has a bye just a week away, and Potter could just probably spend. He could buy him next week off of. I can't remember. Did Walker?
Walker has him. Walker has a good
Yeah.
team, so I wouldn't.
Yeah, that's true. His team is good.
But when JT goes on bye, week 11, who else does Walker have on week 11? No one major. Colts D. That's it. So, and he'll be getting Javante back from bye. So and he has Josh Allen. So JT Walker's low key locking in a Final Four lineup here. Outside of probably needs to upgrade the receivers. No like major studs at the receiver, but he's fine for now. I guess I'm really just looking at Josh Allen and Jonathan Taylor, and to me that seems like two awesome guys to have. But
yeah, both of them could carry you through any week.
Yeah, could or they couldn't, like which would happen to David.
True.
Other than Potter, I mean Jack, you're above the average. Johnny, Jake, all with a strong amount of fab to spend, and then the Ben
Yeah,
Walker
and that last
original.
trade puts me 4 more and Walker 4 less.
What last trade?
Right.
Did I miss one?
The
Allen and Hurts swap Kincaid and
yeah,
Kittle.
we swapped tight ends and QBs, and I got 4 fab for it.
Oh yeah, missed that. So he lost Kittle. Why would he do that? Okay. Oh wait, maybe let me think. That's how he got Josh Allen. When I was putting this together and I was like, when did he get Josh Allen? Like when I was putting the Fantasy Pros picture on his slide and it saw Josh Allen was quarterback. Like have I just been out of touch and I don't know, didn't realize he had Josh Allen? Okay, that's how that happened. You got Hurts, he got Allen, you got Kittle, he got Kincaid, and you got money? How does that? All right, good trade.
Yeah, I got $4.
I think it's a good trade for you.
Appreciate that.
I mean, I think if I'm Walker, maybe I'm looking at I feel like Kincaid's been getting a lot of touchdowns, which is boosting his tight end ranking. Would be my guess.
I think the other thing is Kittle has his bye still coming up. Kincaid's past it, and Josh Allen gives you such a higher ceiling than Hurts. I think Hurts has a pretty good floor, and so does Josh Allen. I mean, Josh Allen's I think the best QB here,
Allen's
but
an upgrade. Yeah,
Allen's a big upgrade for me. It's I feel like I kind of swapped similar QBs, similar tight ends, and I earned some bucks in the process.
Yeah, I think I would give you not insanely the edge, but I would give you the edge on that trade. I think, in my evaluation of it. Nice. Yeah, and then we got Max and Fleming. Pretty much no money left to spend. Ryan only 9, so not a lot of spending power there. Our Week 10 buys, we got some big names on buy. I think big ones like Rashee Rice, Javante, Jamar, T, CeeDee Lamb. No one on the Titans because they suck. Yeah.
I think one of the bigger things
Joe
here is the
Flacco.
Bengals and Cowboys being on a bye is no one's playing the Bengals and Cowboys.
Yeah, no one gets
it's true.
That's an interesting way to look at this.
The defense now, it's the Commanders is the team you're targeting. But yeah, the Bengals and Cowboys are pretty consistently good targets for your offensive players.
Right. You are not wrong.
Giants, baby, doubling up on Bears again. Come on now.
I think I saw that Joe Flacco through his last 3 weeks is the QB2. Fantasy QB2.
I'm sure that's correct.
Oh, man.
So what are we doing, guys? He's on bye, obviously, but must start next week. Who do we have next week, by the way? I don't even know. Bengals week 11 after the bye. Have the Steelers at Pittsburgh. So run it back. Flacco already torched them. But I was at home on Thursday night. All right, anyway. Fantasy Pros versus Sleeper. We've got just a clean split here. You're either in the green or you're in the red. Jack, Jake, Walker, Max, Potter, Johnny kind of barely in there, and then Ben and Ryan up towards the top of the red, and then Mitchell and Fleming towards the bottom of the red. So pretty much agreement across the platforms here. And next week versus rest of season on Fantasy Pros, same names up top pretty much. Jack, Jake, Walker, Max, Potter, Johnny falls out. His rest of season does not look as good as the rest of that bunch. And then Ryan, Ben, Fleming, Mitchell, all still in the red. And our position strength budget chart, a little bit more of a mix here. I think last week it was more all... Well, we had a couple guys. It was like Max and Walker, I think, were the guys with lower fab still, and they still are. But a better mix here. Potter, Jack, Jake are the three in the green. So those are your three that were in the green in all of the charts. Jake barely above the average budget, but he's still there. Johnny has spending power, but his team's a little weaker. And then sort of along that line, if you were to follow these, you know, what would you call these? These breaks in the chart. Technically, Johnny is in a better spot than Walker and Max. But that is if he can spend the fab better than they have players already. So yeah, Johnny's in a decent spot. He's kind of been sitting around the middle of the pack all year, and I think he, with the fab he has, can make some things happen here. And then still, Ben, Ryan, Mitchell, Fleming, teams aren't looking good, and they don't have fab. So. But like I've said before, I think one of these four is bound to make the final four because only one can get chopped every week. So one of these teams is bound to make it 4 weeks from now, be alive in 4 weeks. And there's a lot you can do in that time period. So who's going to make the right moves is the thing to watch.
And I think all of us are out of fab too, like more or
yeah.
less, not
More
fab,
or less,
but
yeah. 15 or less is.
Yep.
15, 14.
Fleming, I think, is in a particularly tough spot because he has both injuries and essentially no fab. So he probably, especially if Bucky's out, might need to empty the tank to get somebody serviceable.
Just wait on it. When Ricky Pearsall returns, his team's going to become elite.
He might not be able to wait on it.
When is he coming back? Why did they put him on IR if he was going to be gone for 6 weeks? Whatever.
I think he is going to practice limited sometime this week, but probably not play.
Okay, well,
it's the last I heard.
Next week, then he should be back.
But also, if you're Fleming, you can't just unload everybody just to get through a week. Like, you know, if any path to the end is probably keeping Bucky, and it's just
and like
there's guys on the waivers. Like, there's enough
there are
now. Like, you can find it. Granted, you have to get lucky, but you can find the guys to fill in. But he's going to be, if he survives, he's going to be riding the red the whole way.
I'd venture to say we're reaching the point in the season where there's going to be the top scorer of the week is going to be on waivers. That's happened before because there's good enough players on waivers that someone's going to pop off that's unrostered.
I think I give it 2 weeks for that to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it still has to be kind of lucky for that to happen too, but like it's not out of the question for that to happen. There's going to be good players on waivers. All right. Let's do the summary. We got the 3 threes. I've got Jake and Jack up top. I put Potter down in the kind of iffy this week. Iffy short term, as I've put it, because of buys of, what was it? Injured Jaden Daniels and CeeDee Lamb on bye. That's really it. Dowdle's questionable, but I think he's fine. Yeah, they're expecting him to play. Puka also questionable. So just a little bit of question marks there, but ultimately he should be fine. He's not in that much of danger this week. I kept Walker and Ben in the top left. Ben, I don't know. I mean, maybe I didn't think about that one hard enough. I kept him there because he lost Achane, but he still has Gibbs, and I think Gibbs provides him some kind of short-term security-ish. And then he brought in Daniel Jones, can probably give him short-term security. He does have Dak and T and Kelsey, who he just acquired from you, right, Ryan? On bye?
Yep.
So maybe Ben's more of a who knows / danger zone pick as opposed to here, but I kept him here. Walker, team is good, just doesn't have the spending power. Max, team is good, doesn't have the spending power. He was up here. I moved him down here. I was going to put him here because he's in a similar spot with some injuries and buys, that being Mahomes on bye, Rashee Rice on bye, still waiting on Amari and Hampton to come off IR, probably in like 3-ish weeks after their bye, 2 to 3. So I kind of just split the difference, put him in the middle because he's kind of in both of these boxes for different reasons. So he gets right down the middle. Johnny, kind of as we've said, he's just right around the middle of the pack, so putting him there. Ryan, I've kept you here. I think you're slightly above the danger zone, but still not in like a dominant spot.
Right.
Okay, that's the summary. Into the team slides. We got Potter getting his first star of the season. Bowers with the hat trick, and T with a big game as well. Dowdle's been great. So yeah, for now, I mean, Potter has some really strong pieces, and then some guys that are kind of just filling in for now. Like Vidal is only good until Hampton comes back, and then like Woody Marks and the flex is kind of not that exciting. Addison's all right, but ultimately a pretty strong group here.
I think there's a world that just Rico Dowdle and Puka Nacua and Brock Bowers, those three can outscore the lowest team.
Mm-hmm. Probably, maybe. I wouldn't doubt it. They've been doing it. And
so yeah, he's in just such a good position.
He is, because he can fill in the upgrade here, and the upgrade here, and probably lock in a stud quarterback eventually. I heard Jaden Daniels might not be out for the season, that it was a pretty clean injury. No like structural ligament damage or anything like that. So,
but I don't know why we'd bring him back. Like, we're not going to win a bunch of games. I bet he's probably out the whole season.
Well, true, but like Bengals with Burrow, I think we play Burrow regardless of where we are in like the standings of the division and our ability to make the playoffs. I think Burrow plays at least a couple games at the end of the season. Which, by the way, why is no one scooping up Burrow and putting him on their IR? I guess if you're...
I think the point I would say to that is like, at least on Jaden, like, it's not really like they were like, he was good, obviously, but like their offense was just kind of off, you know. And so it's like, to a lesser extent, like I held Purdy for a while, but I was like, do I want to run out Brock Purdy, who's been out for 2 months, you know, and like my team's not safe by any means. So it's like, feels just like it, you know, it is, could I eat those words? For sure. But it definitely, I think, would be a risk to start him in meaningless football games for the Commanders when they weren't overly impressive before that.
I agree. Yeah, I think his last game was against Jacksonville, right? When they had that pretty bad loss.
Yeah.
But yeah, Potter's got a ton of fab, so he'll continue to upgrade probably, but he's been kind of stashing it the last 2 to 3 weeks and just letting other people spend. Because like having this amount of fab also forces other people who want players like Walker going for JT. It forces them to spend the $32 to get him because they know that Potter has this money. So it is forcing people to spend essentially if they want someone. So literally by having the fab, it makes people do that. So it's a powerful position to be in. All right, Jack, I'll let you take it away on your team. You've picked up an accolade almost every single week so far this season.
It was just one when I thought I was going to be going home, but Gibbs took me from getting a trash can to middle of the pack. I mean, I'm excited about the team. I feel like the top end is really good, and then I have questionable studs like Nico Collins and Roma Dunze. Roma Dunze putting up a dud last week.
Yeah, crazy.
Like, I could not believe that he got 0 with such a high scoring game. So I mean, he probably doesn't make the end game flex there. But this is a great week for me. Denver is going to be the best defense, and hopefully I don't have to sweat at all. I'd probably start Rashid Wright if Bucky's out over Odunze, even though Odunze's got the Giants, I think it's still a good matchup.
You say Rashad White?
I did not. That's who I meant. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for correcting me there. I liked my moves this week. I picked up Achane. I lost Etienne, Benungai. I also picked up some more fab from that trade this morning. So I'm only net. I lost 6 fab in total. Minor downgrade to the QB, but major upgrade to the running back.
Yep, I agree. I'm just not realizing you got Rashad for $0, which is kind of crazy unless people didn't realize that Bucky was actually trending to not play this week.
Well, so I picked him up last week.
Oh, that was a last week pickup. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, so I saw Johnny dropped him. I have Bucky in my dynasty league, and so I've been tracking this news for a while, and it just is weird. I don't know when he comes back. I definitely don't think it's this week. So I was thrilled when I think it was Johnny who dropped him that I scooped him up.
There you go. Yeah, you're in a good spot. All green across the board. We're at the point in the season there's no more red. So really you're kind of just trying to avoid having too many yellows in your starting lineup here, and you have none. I think it's the first time. I think Jake might. We'll get to Jake's. I think his might be all close to all green. I think he's next. Actually, I'm very wrong. He's got some good amount of yellow going on in here. Obviously, Lamar, CMC, Bijan are his guys. He adds Genty into the flex and Monangai into the second flex. We'll see what the Bears do with that.
He's not starting him. He traded Jack $4 for a bench player. He's starting QJ.
Well, I don't blame him necessarily. I mean, $4 could be worth the risk of
$4 for a backup.
Sure. I mean, but if either Swift doesn't play another week, or if
he's playing
the Bears just like Monangai more now, which is not out of the question, then he becomes an interesting player. But yeah, he does have QJ.
I don't know. I think if I'm Jay, like, his team was fine. Like, he spent probably $20 on like flex guys, and it's just like, go pick up guys for $0 from waivers, and you'd probably be fine. So
I think we all agree.
I hated his moves. I mean, not that they're like, and again, not that they're bad moves in a vacuum, but it's just like $20 is a lot of money at this point, and to like spend them all on bye week fill-ins, didn't really make a ton of sense to me. Let alone, go ahead.
Genty's fine. I mean, 12 might. I don't know what the next highest bid was, but especially given his situation of needing players this week, because no Kareem Hunt, no Xavier Worthy, no Jamar Chase, and he has Monangai on his bench, so not a lot of guys to work with other than the guys he got in the trade, Monangai and QJ, and then picking up Genty.
I hate Genty.
They got Denver this week. It's a tough like matchup.
Their offense does nothing against defense that is worth anything. Like
what's your line on fantasy points for Genty this week today?
7.
5.5.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't take the over.
I think Jake's team is the sneaky could be David from this last week. He's got a great team, but a couple things break wrong, and all of a sudden he's out of here.
I'll say it. Minnesota. Hold on a second. You're right. Minnesota they just like gave the Lions the business this week, and it's not like the Ravens' offense is that much better than the Lions' offense. I think the Vikings could really give the Ravens some trouble this week, and he's got 3 Ravens.
And I was going to say too, like, both of his running backs are getting 20 projected. It's like one of them has a JT week, which like we saw last week is possible.
Bijan's got
and now all of a sudden
matchup. Matt McCaffrey's got the Rams, tough matchup.
Yeah, I mean, if one of those gets 6, 15 for 60, like he's in trouble now.
That'd be an interesting. Imagine what would Potter do with that pool of players on waivers? Would he finally start opening the wallet?
That would be a problem.
Get McCaffrey and Bijan or something.
I think the whole league is kind of rooting for Potter just to have a crazy bad weekend.
Yeah, it does put you in a spot like that. You become the target essentially, which not really that anyone can do anything about that except for that they probably won't give you more fab in trades, although it continues to happen. Everyone generally wants you to die, which is the unfortunate thing. Like, actually, I mean, it wouldn't be illegal, but like if it came down to like Potter's team looks bad, like he's towards the bottom, and another team is projected the lowest, another team might be in their best interest to give the team that's below Potter a favorable trade to give them a player to beat Potter, just so Potter can die with all that fab. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I've totally thought about that before.
That'd be an interesting move because in theory it would help the whole league, and you'd be the one taking the hit by taking the bad trade, quote unquote, just to help someone else beat him. But I don't know. Someone could do it.
It'd have to be like a Sunday night, Monday night type of thing. And as someone who has the second most fab, I think it helps me the most if Potter goes home. I mean,
like, would you spend half your fab to like give? Actually, that wouldn't make any sense. You would be trading a player and getting fab?
Yeah.
But you wouldn't need to ask for much. Like maybe you would be okay just getting 10 fab for like a stud just to get Potter dead in theory, right?
Yeah, in theory.
In
practice, I don't know what that. In practice, I don't know if it plays out that way. I don't have anybody playing. So, this week I have no one to trade other than Jalen Hurts.
Johnny is where Johnny could come in and do it. Then he has fab. It'd be in his interest for Potter to die too. Johnny could trade Josh Jacobs, Monday night player, stud. Interesting. It'd be interesting. I'm not trying to manifest this, but it'd be funny if something like that happened.
I kind of hate the idea of that, just as someone who like that could be me, and I'd be so frustrated if that happened. But also, I'm like, well,
you put a target on your back with the fab. Forget a luxury tax. You just get a target on your back.
Yeah, that's why I'm still anti-luxury tax, even though it's tough.
All right, and on to Johnny's team. He had Brees. That was his big addition. He trades away QJ, gets a couple bucks. That's pretty solid that he got anything out of QJ. Surprised to see QJ moved around so much the last 2 weeks.
The fact that anybody is continuing to get not just like $1 for QJ, but multiple dollars for QJ is wild.
There's just still the belief that as the wide
I'd pay someone fab to start him. That's how I believe in him.
But I want to give Johnny a shout out for the Loveland start. I was this close to pulling the trigger on that in another league where I needed a tight end fill in, and he's just sitting on waivers, and it just seemed like he was ready to break out, and this would be the matchup for it to happen, and he did, because we're unable to tackle him. But yeah, great start for Loveland. Marvin Harrison seems to be back to like a decent player. It's funny enough out of all his...
Especially with Brissett starting probably the rest of the season.
You think that's happening? Yeah. I saw they put Kyler on IR. I don't know if that was because
I don't think Kyler plays again.
Wow. For the Cardinals
I think he's done with the Cardinals.
Their offense is better with
Brissett is better. Brissett is a better quarterback.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Granted, we're freaking out over the Cowboys, but still.
No, he played well the week before.
No, but he's been solid. He's just a solid starter. Like he's been that for so many of these franchises.
Yeah.
Well, he put up against the Packers 300 yards and 2 touchdowns, almost 300 yards. Like, no picks. He's thrown 6 touchdowns to 1 pick in the last 3 weeks. He's averaged over 20 fantasy points against the Colts, Packers, and then Cowboys. I mean, that's just like
not too bad
stuff. Solid stuff there. Brissett seems like a staple, safe quarterback to actually start in the like even right now. So a team that just wants a safe quarterback play could legitimately start Jacoby Brissett in this league. Yeah.
All right, guys, I got to head out. Got to teach a class.
Very nice.
See you, Jack.
Good one. Thanks for hopping in.
See you guys.
All right. We've been talking for a while. Let's see if we can crank out some of these last ones. Ryan, you want to hit yours real fast? You did a lot of moves here.
I did do a lot. I think before the Pickens move, my thought process on Amon-Ra was the net of that was I got Amon-Ra and who else? Somebody, Ertz, I guess.
Dobbs,
is useless.
Ertz.
I gave Dobbs. Amon-Ra and Ertz for the net was 11, Warren, Dobbs, and Kelsey.
I have Dobbs on the wrong side here. Whoops.
Yeah, I think Warren has value. I don't know if he's necessarily endgame. So in my mind, it was kind of more or less Amon-Ra for 11, which I didn't mind. And I don't.
For Kelsey, I mean, Kelsey's a potential endgame tight end, to be honest. So.
Yeah, I think what scares me is there's just so many weapons on that offense.
Mm-hmm.
Like they just a lot of mouths to feed. I think he's pretty reliable, but like there's gonna be games of his where he gets 7 and they score 30. You know, just because they can. So yeah, I like Kelsey, but ultimately I didn't need him. I have Gadsden, and he's a stud. And then Pickens, Wide receiver 3, even with CD back, like he has a pretty high floor, and he has shown that he has a
Mm-hmm.
high ceiling as well. And they're kind of what Jack hit on earlier. Their defense is so bad that I think they're always going to need to pass. So I'm excited for Pickens. I don't know what I'm going to do at flex this week. I'm going to see what Dobbins does tonight, and then determine if I need to go make a trade for $1 or $2. But
Ryan, you've got
yeah,
the
sure.
wide receiver 3 and 4 on the season on your team.
I do. Yeah.
Pickens
And
Jamar. Only short of Jamar and JSN.
yeah, I mean, I like Pickens. So that's, obviously I spent a lot this week, but I think my team got much better. So I'm pleased with the moves. Just obviously don't want to. I have no votes, but I think outside of Amon-Ra and Saquon, I don't think my team is awesome. So want to make sure that, and Pickens is on bye, obviously. So want to make sure that we're not getting too complacent, and we're making necessary upgrades at flex, because right now I have Ertz in there, and yeah, he's the worst flex, I think. The worst flex too. Yeah.
He gets touchdown.
Surprised they have DJ Moore over Keenan. I mean, Keenan,
it's a wash to me.
He's like the wide receiver, 15.
Yeah, but he doesn't. That's because of the first 3 weeks. Like, he hasn't done. You look at week
he had
4
30
now.
2 weeks ago. He had 30 2 weeks ago.
All right, so let's. Where's Keenan Allen?
23. He had 23 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so weeks 4 through 9, he has not scored over 10 points other than that one game.
Okay,
He's not scored more than 9 points.
Targets 7, 9, 7, 14, and then the last 2 weeks he's been down. Yes.
So you're high on Keenan, but you're low on Cortland Sutton. God.
Because his targets are there.
Keenan gets, not Keenan. Cortland Sutton can get the targets.
He's a better quarterback.
I think Keenan has a better target floor, it appears, because the lowest targets he's gotten are the last 2 weeks, which is 5.
And the last thing I'll say, and then we can move on. I like Keenan. My point being, I'm not overly enamored with him. I'm surprised DJ Moore, after one good week, is being rated better than he is. But
yeah, I mean, it's not after. It's also based off matchup this week, so whatever that looks like. Steelers.
Okay. All right. Well, they both have good matchups, but yeah. I guess that makes a little more sense.
Yeah. All right. On to Walker's team. Basically he trades away a lot of studs, loses Rashee Rice, Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, Chase Brown, gets only some moderate guys back, Ladd, Swift, Dobbs, but 37 fab, and then he spends 32 of that on JT. So essentially does all that to get JT. I think if I were him, I might rather have what I had before, which is Rashee Rice and Derrick Henry, and then not having JT. But you could make an argument if JT goes back to doing what he was doing outside of last week, then you're going to be fine with JT there. Has Krosky as his RB2. I don't think that's actually who his RB2 is.
He's not starting him.
His RB2 is someone else. Swift. That's, I guess, if Swift plays. Which
he said,
looks like Fantasy Pros is not thinking that is the case.
His first, if you click on his thing in Sleeper,
Mm-hmm.
the first blurb is Swift says he will play in Week 10. So
groin injury.
I think
Groins are tough, but yeah.
Yeah.
I think it sounds like he will play then. Had a nice fill-in from Trevor Lawrence last week on his, what was it? It was his Jalen Hurts bye, but now he has Josh Allen. So, there you go. Fleming's team. He goes and does one of those trades with Walker. He gets A.J. Brown and Chase Brown for Pickens and Swift. So, solid receiver he gets a risky receiver for a solid receiver, and then
Chase Brown's or A.J. Brown stinks.
Healthy running back for not healthy running back, but kind of a wash there. So I don't know. I thought that was an interesting move. If A.J. Brown stops being a bum, then maybe this is a good trade, but we'll see. Pickens was on bye. I guess that was also part of the driver here. He needed to do something for this week. And Swift might not play. So ultimately for the scope of this week, I think the trade is a benefit, but hard to say it's a good long-term trade. gets Musgrave, Harvey, and Torrey Horton off waivers for free. So those are some guys that all could be startable. I'd be curious the Seahawks now they just added in Rashid Shaheed before the trade deadline, and then they have Cooper Kupp. So it's like they got a kind of crowded room where JSN's still going to get the bulk. So I don't know if Torrey Horton continues that production with other guys in there.
Yeah, he just dropped him.
He just dropped him right now.
Yeah.
He heard me talking about it. When did he drop him?
Yeah.
9 minutes ago? Okay, no. Darn, that would have been funny if it was literally right now. There you go. All right, Ben. We got Dak. Dak was his top scorer. Even though he was like kind of
that's wild.
throwing his not having a good game when he needed him to, when his season was on the line. Ben's season was on the line. But he ended up getting a little bit of points.
Hit 2 in the first half or something.
Yeah, it was bad. He got some points together later in the game. Alec Pierce, solid play last week. Achane, he moves on from Achane and gets ETN, Kelsey, Warren, and T. Higgins. So he loses Achane and a little bit of Fab and Ertz and Dobbs and gets ETN, Kelsey, Jalen Warren, and T. Higgins on bye. T on bye. Kelsey on bye. So yeah, interesting. I mean, he got more startable players is how I look at this now. Like more guys that will be in his lineup than he had before. It's just a downgrade from Achane, and he lost Fab. So we'll see how that works out. And he looks like he'll be starting Danny Dimes this week as well. All right, Mitchell's team. He adds in Sutton. We've beaten this dead horse long enough, but we'll see what Sutton can do tonight and the rest of season, really. Now I guess he's got the Knicks. He's not starting Knicks. I was going to say the Knicks Sutton stack. Probably safe not to do that in case for any reason the Broncos don't have a good game. So he's not. He is starting Jackson Dart. But he's got some solid guys now. There's not as many gaping holes in this team as there used to be. I mean, Hawkinson is still such a risky flex play or a tight end play. DK had a bust week last week, and JMO we know is boomer bust, but
I mean, it's reflected in his votes. He's not getting as many votes. It's not as clear cut by any means. And Tracy has a good matchup. Monty has a good matchup. Sutton has a good matchup.
Does he have Tracy in his lineup?
He does. Over JMO.
Okay, fair enough.
He doesn't watch this. I'm trying to give him Ertz for nothing, and he is hell bent on sticking with Hawkinson, which
he likes Hawk.
Why?
He's a lion. He's former lion, former lion.
Yeah, I know. But nothing because of what he's done this year. Why
does
he's
Jake
been
keep
awful.
starting Mark Andrews? I mean, I guess there's probably a little more to back that than being a Ravens fan, but
he just went for 20 points.
I know exactly. So I'm saying there's a little more.
Hawk had 8. I think that's his highest week.
We had 13
so anyway,
against the Bengals. Of course, against the Bengals.
Mitchell, take Ertz, please. All I want is a bench piece. I'm not asking for anyone he's starting. I was just you need a tight end. I'm trying to help you.
But Ertz without Jaden Daniels? Do we have the stats on how good he performs without Jaden Daniels?
I feel like the backups tend to just do more checkdowns to the tight end. Obviously there's no data to support that, but
I believe it.
I don't know. Tight end 12 versus tight end 24. If I could compare this to The Office, I would compare it to the episode where Meredith is trying to she's in trouble for getting the steak gift cards for discounted paper for sex or whatever, and she's interviewed by Michael and Holly, and Holly's just tell me it's for the discount, or you would do it if it wasn't for the discount. And she's no, and Michael's you dirty bag, I'm trying to help you. That's how I feel with Mitch. I'm I'm trying to help you. And
you stupid bag, I'm trying to help you. So that line, wow. Okay. At first I was how is this at all related? But just that line, I can see.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We'll see what he does. He's I think he'll roll with Hawk from what I can tell, but we'll see what he does. Terry
Ertz is
McLaurin
out
seems
there.
to be out for probably an extended period of time, so we'll see. Not expected to play this week, at the very least. All right, Max's team, last one before David, and we're approaching the hour mark. Gets his first trash can. He's still got a really solid team. He adds McBride for 13. It was a bit, I believe it was an overpay relative to what other people bid, but getting a guy that is the top 2 tight end is probably a good thing to do at this point in the season.
Who do you have? Oh, Goddard.
So he could still like flex Goddard
And Kraft. I think he had
upside.
Kraft.
Oh yeah, Kraft was the real reason here. That was to me the reason. It was like, okay, he needed to replace Kraft, but I did forget he also has Goddard, who's fine. But McBride, endgame tight end. He's got a good amount of endgame guys here. Michael Pittman's been just quietly really good this season.
We didn't touch on it in Ben's slide, but like him and like Pierce, I keep waiting for Pierce to stop producing, and he keeps, and he's getting a ton of targets. Like it's not even like he's getting a deep ball or whatever.
He used to
like,
get the one catch for 50 and a touchdown, and now it's
he's like getting a lot of volume. Like I don't know, I'm not. Maybe it's just like bias, but I'm never like spending crazy on Pierce, but it's like the data would say that he's a good option. Like the Colts offense, Danny Dimes, your point, like a lot of just solid options who are quietly, just chugging along.
Yeah, seriously. Not Josh Downs, though.
I mean, even he's like, yes, not Josh Downs.
He gets some
but
work.
He's been all right. Yeah. He's the wide receiver 3. He lost his wide receiver 2 job. I mean, even wide receiver 1 when it was Joe Flacco.
Yeah. And then to touch on his trades, I think he did a good job with trades this week. He did the 10 for BTJ. Obviously, that's going to be good for him. And then he did the straight up, gets Rashee Rice on bye and Derrick Henry for Amon-Ra and Ladd. I think I take that side over the Amon-Ra and Ladd. I love Amon-Ra, but like Rashee Rice is awesome, and then Derrick Henry is better than Ladd by a large margin. So I take Max's side of that trade for sure. And he adds in Tet, by the way, $3 and to be probably a flex play this week. Good matchup against
not starting him.
Saints.
I forget who he's. I do not think he's starting him. I forget who.
He's got Goddard and
Garrett Wilson.
He's waiting to see if Garrett Wilson plays. But analytics says Kamara was so bad last week. It's just abysmal.
I don't think he's starting Kamara either. Who's in his lineup?
2 points. No, he's not. It's Goddard in the flex.
Goddard. Yeah.
So don't hate that. Don't hate that move. But I think you probably got to give Tet a start, maybe. Hey, you don't have to, but he's pretty decent.
Yeah, Kamara would have fall from grace. He stinks.
Yeah. Too fab. Not a lot to work with left for Max. And RIP David. He gets Booty injured. 0 points. Patriots D didn't do him any favors, and then his next lowest was Tet with 7, which isn't that bad, but that was just his next.
But we're at a point in the year. It's an 11-team league. When David died, like, floor.
Floor's going
starting to see that like 7 is no longer like, all right, I can work with that.
Right. I mean, if you get 7 here or there, but then you have a guy pop off, then you're fine.
Yeah. Correct.
But when you don't have JT getting you 30, 7's not going to get it done from your flex, or your one of your top 2 wide receivers, actually. Just really the end of the JT run there. Did him in along with some other guys putting up duds. So, RIP David. Was never in the bottom 25% all season until that. All right, power rankings this week. Pretty much everyone gets bumped up because of David, who was at the 3 or 4. I think maybe even the 3, actually. But where I flipped people, I flipped Walker and Max, which is funny because I was just saying I liked Max's side of that trade more, but when I made these power rankings, I was just kind of looking at the teams, and I think I saw the Josh Allen and the JT, and I just that felt strong to me. So it's pretty close. This top 5 is pretty close. I think Potter's still the bottom of the top 5, just because he still needs to spend the fab to really get the team super beefy, but it's decently beefy right now. And then Johnny staying right where he is, right in the middle of the pack. And then Ryan, I flipped you and Ben. I think you've passed Ben now I think Ben losing Achane is not a great thing for him long term. I don't think. And you now
I
have
didn't
kind
mind.
of some
I didn't.
better guys like Barkley and Amon-Ra on your team.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind it. Ultimately, I just don't.
Yeah, sure.
I don't think I loved how he spent. Like he spent the fab on like mid pieces, immediately. So I don't know. I think that was my only real gripe. But
There you go. Yeah. Well, that is it. That is my Week 10 rankings. And looking at who's getting votes so far this week, we got Fleming with 6, Mitchell with 4, Ben with 2, and Potter with just 1. And there's a chance I change my vote from Fleming to Jake. One, because I don't like voting with the crowd, because that's not going to help me if I get it right. Jake could be an interesting vote this week. Yeah, that's what we got going on here. No one who's not getting votes. That could be. I mean, Ryan,
I don't have a vote.
Ryan doesn't have a vote.
Not great, to your point.
Yeah, teams.
So it's never.
It's been 3 weeks, I think, now straight. Where
I think so.
Or no, I got voted.
2. It's been 2. It's been 2
because I got votes, but I was not like a top voter when I went.
I gotcha.
You got me though. You and Walker, I think, both got me.
Yep.
David and Cooper went with no votes, so
yeah,
it's bound to keep happening. Although we're getting later in the season, there's a higher chance people are going to get these right. So it's going to be pretty unlikely that no one guesses it right unless we don't get enough like turnout from votes, because there could in theory be upwards of, if we don't count like Joey and Huff, like 18 votes on a week is like probably the max we'll see. But we're usually floating around like 12 to 15 votes. But yeah, it's going to get harder and harder to not get the person, not have no one get it right. But right now we only have 4 people getting votes, so it could happen again.
Could. Yeah,
right.
I'm on Fleming this week. It's the crowd vote, obviously, but guys just getting bent over by injuries. And obviously, Bucky's trending towards not playing. I think Swift plays, but still leaves him with a few holes. Like Charbonnet is touchdown reliant. And he doesn't
AJ Brown,
really
volatile.
I hate AJ Brown.
The Goff Laporta stack might be good against
I think so.
Washington.
Yeah, I think so. But I think there's other weaknesses that,
Shakir's been really consistent. Let's talk about that. He's been. I would have probably still had Shakir on my team if I was alive. He just kind of gets him a. Do you reach a point in the season where a guy like Shakir, who's nice and consistent and gets you a floor, doesn't get you anywhere because you need guys to score more? But for now, I think Shakir is still a nice little floor piece. You would think the wide receiver one on the Bills would have a higher ceiling, but
I mean they do this forever.
Yeah,
or they just don't. Yeah, really have a guy.
Yeah. All right, we'll wrap it up right around an hour. Ryan, you got any other closing thoughts, remarks?
Nah.
Let's let it die. Let it happen. As always, good luck, guys. Don't get chopped.
Okay.